Welcome to the Emergent Gamer Podcast. This is episode 253, and back here again is Lock and Key. Who do I have next to me? That would be you.
Yeah, I'm going to say Felix Ergood. I had to look.
We literally just reviewed this 30 seconds ago.
No, but I didn't look at fucking spatial observation. I didn't do
It's fine. It's fine, you old man. Who do we have above him?
It's Trip Zero. What's going on, guys?
What's up, Trip? And then we have our guest this week. We have Nimbus joining us this week. What's going on, Nimbus?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, man? Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So for all those that have been in the Discord, is probably familiar with Nimbus, but he hasn't actually made his way on an episode yet. So we're excited for that. So do you guys want to start with what we've been up to? And then we'll jump into a little bit about Nimbus and then go from there.
Do you want to jump in really quickly, just with some simple housekeeping stuff to remind our listeners out there that we are on YouTube. Make sure you have to search right now for the Emerging Gamer Podcast on YouTube, but search us and subscribe to us so we can get you that sweet, easy link to follow. We've got the breakouts of the episodes that are live on there. We've got the Smash League recaps from the Emerging Gamer Smash League. A lot of fun stuff. So like us, subscribe to us there on YouTube. Also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for the podcast itself, and rate us and leave a review. Thanks, everybody. Tell your friends, tell your mom.
Shout out to Demos for helping with the YouTube work.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Demos.
Yeah. So who wants to jump in first of what they've been up to? Felix, do you want to go? You want to go first?
Sure.
I mean, I can go. You stopped me earlier from the pre-show.
No, I fucking will.
You will.
Oh yeah.
You fucking do it.
Oh yeah. I got it.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
he says. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did.
So, as I was saying in the pre-show to Trip before you got here, Locke, I kind of have my own in my head. I don't think you guys have ever made this observation on the show itself, but in my head, I have my own Last of Us in reference to Trip Zero. You know, he's never completed that game, and he needs to. So in my head, the thing that eats at me every single day is Red Dead Redemption 2. So
it eats at you every single day.
Yeah, almost every single day.
Almost every single day you have a thought.
I have a thought about Red Dead Redemption 2 prior to now, because now I'm playing it.
Right.
But I had this thought, I need to finish that game.
It's eating away at you.
Yeah. I mean, my first run through of the game whenever it came out, because I played it the day it came out, right? Like I played actually Red Dead Redemption 1 into Red Dead Redemption 2. So I finished it that morning, like the last boss mission fight or whatever, when you're Jack or whatever. And then I rolled right into Red Dead Redemption 2. Mm-hmm. This is a game that I got completely distracted in, man. And I was actually hypercritical of it because I was like, this is not a game that I can finish because there's too much to do and it distracted me. And I realized that's just bullshit. It's exactly the same game as Red Dead Redemption 1. And I played that all the way through. I just have to focus on only the story quests. So I started the game back up. I actually bought it again. I bought it again. I own it 3 times now. I bought it on PlayStation so that I can play with Doc Prefect because he plays it online on PlayStation.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. So I might be playing with him in the future on my live stream. But before I do that, I just want to play through the story, and I am now I can confidently say that I'm now to parts of the game that I have never played. So I'm excited about it.
That's good. It's a good thing.
Because I got distracted. I was doing all the side shit, all the challenges, doing
What's
all
the
that.
matter with that though?
I was nothing, but I was just sitting out there in the middle of nowhere hunting and fishing.
Literally what you look like you should be doing.
With the chair, rocket chair.
So this time I'm actually playing story stuff. I mean, for instance, today I killed a racist slave owner. That was great. You know, progress. Progress, man. So I've come a long way.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that they put it in the Xbox Game Pass and didn't put it on the PC store. It's a little disappointing.
Yeah, why wouldn't they do that? I don't know. Rockstar.
Rockstar's greedy bastards, and they know they can make money for literally ever.
No, I think it's just console loyalty. they've had this obscene console loyalty for years. Like what they were.
Yeah,
delayed.
but they just gave away GTA 5 in the Epic Game Store.
Oh, did they really?
I scooped it for sure.
So did I. It's the only time I ever
down
go
on
to
that
the
one.
Epic Game Store. Check back each
That's
week,
nice of
man.
them. But they didn't do it for Red Dead. Maybe there's like a time in their mind, like a period of time.
Probably. I mean, well, they just put GTA 5 for free, and how long has GTA 5 been out?
No.
Like 7 years.
2013.
I lived in
Yeah.
4 houses ago when
Right. So I mean,
good way to
and
tell
people
that.
are still buying it in Steam, and they still have high concurrent players. So, it doesn't surprise me.
The thing that I was laughing at earlier, so I posted this tweet. There was this weird glitch. If you go to my Twitter account, anyone listening, go to my Twitter account. You'll see it in one of my recent tweets. It's two guys clipping into each other, sitting on the same chair.
Oh, I saw that actually.
So it
That's why you
completely
posted.
looks like they're one guy's behind the other guy embracing. But then I didn't realize the bit of dialogue that's on the picture is so fucking funny. It says, "I was told it would alleviate my suffering, and in many ways they were correct." And that's what made me laugh. So, but he's just two guys, dude. It's so funny.
One's holding a bowl of stew.
It was the funniest glitch I had ever seen. But anyway,
How is the online portion of that? Like, how does it compare to GTA versus the original Red Dead?
I frankly have a lot of problems with both the GTA and the Red Dead Online because of the level of grind you have to do.
Sure.
I don't know if that's different in the higher. I've experienced it with GTA 5, GTA Online, because I've gotten really far. I had a high level character in that.
Right. You played a lot
And
of
when
that.
when you get into the later portions of it, it's just super grindy and gross. Like it just makes me feel sick to my stomach every time I fucking play it. Like,
Or
because
so
I
you-
have higher expectations of Rockstar, you know.
But is that because you wish it was like a singular multiplayer experience versus like
I don't think so.
a game as a service?
I just
'Cause
don't
isn't
want-
it becoming a game as a service then if you have to keep up with it?
It's not keeping up. It's like if you want to do like minor stuff, you have to go through a lot of bullshit.
Okay.
Like for instance, I wanted to get the weed business going in GTA.
Who doesn't?
Right. And that's the baseline business. There's higher ones like the Coke business and like all the other drug businesses that you can get a gun running and all that crap.
Right.
And the problem is just to deliver weed, you have to go against the entire server. So like the minute you're trying
I remember you explaining this.
Yeah, you're trying to make one delivery of weed. It's not going to attract the attention of everybody in the fucking tri-state area delivering one bag of weed, dude. You know, like,
Sure.
So it's a little fucking, it's fucked up. I don't like its economy, basically. I don't
Right.
like the economy of it. But
Did you see that?
I haven't played Red Dead Online enough to know its economy.
Right.
Jake
Yeah, my
Prince
only
could
exposure to
comment.
Red Dead Online was the few times that we did it.
Well,
and
we
we
did
just
Red Dead Online with the original game.
Right, we did, and we were just kind of dicking around, waiting for people to ride by on their horses and then shooting them.
And it's also,
we didn't really-
to be honest with you, this is way more. Red Dead Online is way more developed than
Then it was
the original
sure.
Red Dead
Well,
Online.
right? Because that was nothing. Yeah.
Like there's all kinds of things that you can do now, like customize outfits and like.
Sure.
There's a bunch of build camps, all that shit that you couldn't do. But I'm willing to, if I got a friend who's playing it, I'm willing to hop back in and try it out again. You know, and
If it was in the Game Pass, I would do it.
he's much further along than I am, so maybe he'll have some insights on why he enjoys it. And I'll
Did
agree
you
with those
see
insights.
that Take-Two did their, like, I forget the name of it, but it's like their 5 to 10 year roadmap for investors. So people are now guessing that GTA 6 is going to come out in 2023. Because this is what they did to predict Red Dead 2 was that year 2023. Take-Two ramps up their investment in marketing
Yep.
by like an extra like 15 to 20 million, and this is what people did when they were predicting Red Dead 2. So
Right.
right now they're saying GTA 6 in 2023.
I'll tell you what stock was pretty much coronavirus proof. Their
Dude,
stock.
it's crazy. I read a whole article about. I read a whole article saying drop EA and invest in Take Two. But the problem is that you can't invest in Take Two now. I mean, we missed it.
Yeah,
Nope.
can't do that.
Like it's gone.
It's mid cap
gone.
now, baby. It's on its
Yeah,
way.
it was just like Blizzard stock, dude. That time on that show, man, I should have dropped all my money into Blizzard stock, and I wouldn't. It's fucking crazy.
I put a lot of money into Take Two. I've just been buying like
I know you have. Yeah.
dude. I'll just buy like a single share every now and then, and I'm just over the time.
Right.
I've just been growing. So,
Well, once you accumulate a bunch of it, you're set. You know,
yeah.
Then you start getting it.
So it's been good. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, and that's what I'm gonna do until Ghost of Tsushima comes out. So.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, I figured. Oh, Trip Zero. I figured
Yes.
out talking to our friend Flower,
Yes.
and we're both right on how you pronounce that.
Oh, okay.
And she said it's because one is the Japanese pronunciation that would be pronounced correctly by a person who speaks Japanese. And when an American tries to do it, it doesn't sound right because we don't have, it's not built into our cultural vocal, like, I don't know what that's called, but she said that I would be pronouncing it correctly if I could speak Japanese, right?
Right.
But I don't sound right when I say it that way. The correct American pronunciation of it is Tsushima. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
she said it's just we're both right, but we're just not Japanese and we can't.
Just the way your mouth is.
We
used
sound
to
like
form.
assholes if we're trying to pronounce it.
Is it kind of like someone in Spanish trying to roll their R's
Exactly.
or something
That's
like
what
that?
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And
Where you
there's a
sound
term
like
for that.
You sound like an asshole.
There's a term for that in speech
Yeah.
science,
Like the
but I don't know what
dialect?
it's called. I don't.
Dialect, maybe.
I don't know if the word is dialect or vernacular, but
Right.
No, it's not vernacular.
But you know
is
what I'm
your-
talking
is
about.
The rest of
But-
your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Or vernacular is like in your own way of speaking, not like how that speech is.
The
being
words
done.
in which you choose would
Yeah.
be your vernacular, right?
Interesting though. Good to know.
yeah.
I'll hit it next.
Yeah.
I've still only really been playing Valorant. It's really the only thing I've been doing since the last time that I've played. Or last time I was on the show. But the one thing that I want to talk about too, I'll get in a second, which was what I did today, which was playing Destiny with Diamond for the first time in like 2 months. But yeah, so Valorant's been good. I mean, the last time that I was on the episode, I talked about part of the reason wanting to play it was because it's the first shooter in a long time that like challenged me to get better. Because of like the game mechanics and the way like I didn't grow up playing the Counter-Strike style of shooter, so it's very different. But it definitely, sinking all this time into it, I can definitely see a clear distinction from like where I started to where I am now, which is pretty cool. So that goes live next week. So they're actually bringing down the closed beta tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. And then next Tuesday, the full game releases, which is free to play for everyone. So it will be down for, what's that? So tomorrow is Thursday. So from Thursday to Tuesday.
Now, do you know if they're going to reset your account progress, your levels, your rankings, all that stuff?
Yep. So everything goes away. The only thing you get to keep is there was like a closed beta progression track, which led to like an in-game item that you get to keep, which is like your closed beta reward. But like your rank, the characters that you bought or earned, or the gun skins that you purchased, all of that gets wiped.
Gotcha.
A really cool thing that they did, which I don't know if we mentioned this before, is any money that you spent on their in-game currency, they're giving it back to you plus 20% additional when the full game comes out.
That's actually
which is pretty
nice.
cool. So I know I put in money. I know Nimbus put in money. Jay, he put in. I think all of us that have played it have put in money at this point. Yeah.
They don't really lose anything, but they give back more than a normal player would have gotten. So it's kind of a win-win.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm excited. They're coming out with an additional character to play next week, an additional map, an additional game mode, which we don't know what that game mode's going to be. So that should be interesting. And then they're gonna have like new weapon skins and all the cosmetics and stuff. So I'm definitely excited for it. It'll be good to step away from it for a little bit and go back to it. It's interesting because so today I decided to work on the Fellwinter's Lie shotgun quest.
Yeah.
So for all those that don't know, there's a very, very good PvP shotgun available right now through a quest line in Destiny. The only damn reason why I booted it up is so I don't miss out on it, which I'm sure is the reason why Nimbus is worried about it as well, and Diamond's worried about getting it as well, just so we have it. So I aimlessly did the 1,000 shotgun kills by standing in place and killing a bunch of thrall and shit over and over and over again. But afterwards, I saw Diamond online and I was like, hey, Diamond, I see you playing Destiny right now. What's going on? And he's like, I'm just fucking around, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you want to play some Crucible? And he's like, oh, you're really trying to dive into it now? You're trying to get back into Crucible? I was like, I just want to, I guess, mess around and see what it's like. And it was a miserable experience for the 2 hours that we played it, or hour and a half that we played it.
Why is it bad still?
I don't want to go too deep into it, but it's the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because it's so interesting to play a game like Valorant, which is so focused on the PvP experience. I mean, that's the only thing they're focused on is the PvP experience. And then jumping into a game that has PvP that the developers clearly don't care as much about, and then seeing the difference in the experience of playing it. And I don't just mean like gameplay wise, right? Like not just like, because they're two very, very different games, but like mechanically how the developers, like Bungie specifically, obviously does not necessarily care as much about what that experience looks like. So it was just like, lag and server response time, like all of those things were so apparent after playing Valorant for this long. And then not to mention the other, broken exotics that still exist, broken weapons that still exist, like all the normal shit that still exists within the game. I guess I never really realized how poor the underlying infrastructure of Destiny really was until you play something that is solely focused on great infrastructure.
Sure. Yeah.
So I definitely need to get back in there so I can get the shotgun. So I have it. There's only one more step of the quest. So I guess I have, when's the season reset? Season resets on June 9th, I think.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of more time to go in and do the bunker, but this is the first time that I've played Destiny essentially since the season came out. I played the first week of season 12, maybe the first 2 weeks, I would say, Nimbus, right? We played maybe the first 2 weekends of trials, I think.
Yeah, that was about it.
2 or 3 weekends, and that's been it.
Yeah, I've only touched a couple weeks in the very beginning, and then sporadically popping in and out when I've had a couple, minutes, of downtime or whatever, just to kind of keep a pulse on things. But it's just, there's no desire or drive to do anything. Nothing
it's
feels
crazy, man.
It really isn't. Yeah.
Just a
Dude,
bounty
it's still
later this season. Even the story is boring as shit.
It's so bad. But like I go in there and I shoot aliens and it feels so great. It feels so good to shoot the guns, man. And
there's always this outline though of like a cool reason to do something, and that just not been here this season.
Yeah, it's funny. Diamond and I were just having like an off the cuff conversation as we were playing, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Is like there was always something, even if it was one thing, there was always at least one thing in Destiny that made you go back and play it, right? Yeah. Whatever, and it might have been something different for everyone, right? But there was something there that brought you back to play. And what were you gonna say, Felix? You threw your hand.
I was gonna say, like every single quest in Red Dead, it ends with me shooting hillbillies, and it's fucking great every time I'm shooting hillbillies.
There you go.
It's there you go. Over and over and over again. Like
you're preparing for when you're preparing for a raid, world's first race, you're still just shooting aliens, but like. And obviously you can't have this every season. I completely understand that. But my best memories of Destiny is like getting ready with you guys to go in like minute one for a brand new world's first raid and making it as far as we possibly can and figuring out stuff literally blind and like having these amazing moments where we figure out and solve and overcome. That's the reason why the game can be great. But when they introduce the seasonal model of just like treadmill-y routine activities to keep people kind of locked into playing, I guess maybe in a way to make the most money, keep the player base up and stuff like that, it just ends up absolutely killing the vibe and making it just not a good place to be end a game, regardless of how great it feels to shoot aliens.
Yeah.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I think, as I was saying to Diamond earlier, like the thing that kept me going in Destiny for the years that I played it was that like there would always be something to chase, and when I was chasing it, that thing always led to being great in Crucible. Right? Like that was my path to continue to playing, was grind for X weapon or X role, doing PvE content. Right, you always have to do PvE content to get it for the majority, and then that would lead to Crucible, which was always in a better state than it's currently in now. So it's twofold for me. Crucible's in the worst state it's ever been in my opinion. And then you also have nothing to really grind for, in my opinion, that's worthwhile to bring in to Crucible. I mean,
right? They killed pinnacle weapons especially for PvP, maybe in a way to make things a little bit more inclusive or accessible to people. Maybe that was a thing, but I can't understand the thought process, because that was one of the things keeping so many of us going during the season. So many of the people that would play in our clan, in our Discord, in our group, Yeah,
and that's what I said to Diamond. They're afraid of things being broken. I think they're afraid of things being overpowered at this point. So they eliminate, the weapons, because every weapon they came out with that was pinnacle, quote unquote, ended up being broken. Every single one of them, for the most part.
And they just got rid of them. They just fizzled them out after.
Right. They nerfed all of them, right? Like Breakneck got nerfed, all of these guns got nerfed, and then they came out with like the game type specific weapons that just weren't nearly as good, right? Like Randy's throwing knife was not nearly as good as every other Crucible weapon, and what was is it Edgewise, or what was the Edgewise was not nearly as good as any, so the Python's not nearly as good. So it, I think they're missing the mark and the pulse of what the community wants. And I think that's something that Diamond hit on specifically in the conversation that we're having. I know that Diamond's releasing his own thought in a YouTube video coming soon, which I would encourage everyone to check out and listen to. Subscribe to Diamond Jab on YouTube.
You mix that with the Steam servers, which just make it a lot easier to cheat in the game, along with free to play, and then it's a mess.
Yeah, it's bad. Like just the lag and response time of playing the game. It was honestly laughable seeing the bullshit that you have to deal with to play the game. It's crazy. And when I was joking with Diamond, I was like, I wonder how many games it's going to take before we hit a cheater. Now, to my knowledge, we did not face anyone cheating, which is great.
Well, that's surprising.
But we did play against plenty of people that had atrocious connection, right? That was just like so bad to play against. It was awful.
Yeah.
Which you just don't get when you're used to playing something like Valorant, where I have between 16 and 25 ping at all times. And everything is super responsive.
And a 120 tick rate server and all these other, things that are primarily focused on connection.
Where I can't blame anything else but myself. Right? That's the beautiful thing of Valorant is the only thing to blame when you're losing or missing is yourself and your own aim, instead of blaming the game, because the game is awful. But
ownership of your skill.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens next week when Valorant comes out. Hopefully it releases successfully. There's some things that I'm curious about, if we're going to need to regrind to unlock ranked. So what they did with this when they released rank was you had to play at least 20 unranked matches to be able to get into the ranked playlist, which is good. It stops new accounts from just jumping right in, since it's free to play. So there's that barrier of entry, which is good. So some other things that'll come up, but it's been great thus far. Everyone that's been playing it in the Discord still been enjoying it. So hopefully it has a successful launch. But that's really been it for me, man. Triple, what have you been up to?
Really, really not much besides sporadic popping in to video games as I get bored and train and poke around with how much I can get away with at my new work from home job.
Sure.
like I mentioned earlier, a little bit of Destiny bounties, but then I stopped really early on. A little bit of Kerbal Space Program today for the launch. I was getting back into that.
Launch. Yeah.
And shooting off some rockets and playing around with some orbital mechanics, and that shit was fun. Some Delta V, some rocket science. This shit is mad fun to me. But also probably the biggest time investment in this whole period of time in my life where I'm getting, starting a new job and having to move, which should be done by next week, which would be great because I can get back to like, relatively stable stream schedule and stuff like that. The biggest time investment has been into Skyrim on the Switch.
Skyrim on the Switch. Dude. Felix just went 6 to midnight. You're talking about Skyrim, dude.
Really did, dude.
Erection.
Shit.
Erection.
A little bit.
Holy shit.
Partially caused by the fact that I scooped one of those Switch Pro controllers. So I was like, you know what? Let's just pop my Cradle upstairs on my big TV and chill on the couch and just jam with some Skyrim. And it's like made me totally dive back into the save file that I had there and explore and just kind of live.
That's how I play it, man.
Did you? I don't remember. I mean, we've probably talked about it 4,000 times at this point. But did you ever finish Skyrim, like at all the times that you've played it, or have you always put it down? I have finished the story.
I finished the main quest line. I tried to do a complete run on my first save ever on the PS3, but after finishing every single quest line, and this was pre-DLC, so just base shipping game. After finishing every quest line, the Civil War quest bugged out for me, which has been like one of the big
broke for a lot of people. Yep.
For almost the entire player base. The battle between the true people of Skyrim and the Empire. And I just at a certain point, one of the people like out middle of the quest, we're out on a camp somewhere on some campaign, very Game of Thrones style, about to siege another town to try and win it for the Stormcloaks. The guy wouldn't talk to me. The guy who was supposed to be like, cool, supposed to be a thing, was just fucking big chillin'. Would never even give me like dialogue options. He just wouldn't talk to me.
I can't remember what causes that, but yeah, I've had that. I had that one.
It's frustrating.
But does it even run on the Switch? Does it run like good?
It runs pretty well, and the Switch can actually handle like.
I guess an older game too.
It is like when you see like recent Skyrim stuff, it's always from Skyrim mods, which make the game look like utterly incredible. But like
that makes sense, yeah.
Skyrim 3 on 360 and PS3, like, or I guess it wouldn't have been 360. It would have been, or was it 360? Or was it Xbox One?
It was Xbox 360. Yeah, it was PS3 and 360.
Right, PS3 360. Right. I was messing up my generations. Like that looked so bad in comparison to like how good the mods look. But it feels like, for me, I think it's the same thing with Witcher. Like if I had a Switch, I would buy Witcher as well and pretend like I was going to play it. And get through it. But exactly. I get through the fucking Griffin.
I've never finished The Witcher. Speaking of long as shit RPGs, even though I love it every time I'm in, I stop at a certain point.
I did a I did a 100% trophy on Skyrim. I got
right. I remember
on the achievements. Yep.
You also did did you do the playthrough where you just walked organically?
Yeah. My proximity playthrough. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I completed that save file, but I definitely packed like 400 hours into it. It takes a real long time to like walk around.
Well, sure, if you're just walking places and not using the fast travel.
I didn't use fast travel at all.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. I'm doing that.
Tracking your steps.
I'm almost doing that in Red Dead. Almost. Red Dead 2, it's kind of hard. Like it's a really gigantic map. So I have to fast travel between the two major cities on either end of the map because it's bad.
I'm only fast traveling in my current Skyrim playthrough if I get deep into a hole with one of the new expansion pieces of content, which is building and like designing your house, kind of. You need a lot of materials to craft all the bullshit that just gets set up inside there. Yep. So at a certain point, I'm like, fuck it, I'll go to the city and buy an entire blacksmith's inventory and then fast travel back and just work on this. But normally, I'm very big into like, I do ride a horse. I don't walk. I'll ride a horse though, and just try to like actually have real game time between cities. I'll get to a place, it'll be night. I'll eat some food. I'll buy some food from the person, eat some food, go to sleep, get a room. I'll just like try to like live that actual.
Yeah, like Trip. The secret for the house building shit is to do
it because I'm already bored of it. But continue.
No, I was just going to tell you, like you want to like basically farm the mines. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You farm the mines.
It's just I mean, at a certain point, for the house, I thought it'd be a lot deeper than it is, because all you do is essentially like you go through what is like a magazine and you pick the design that you want, and it gets like put onto your carpenter's bench, which you then just need to have the shit in your inventory and click it, and it says, all right, here's the foundation, here's the walls, here's the roofs. So it just becomes a big fetch quest to build a house. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm good on this, honestly.
Yeah, you can't really customize it and make the house look the way you want it to look. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has preset designs.
Yeah, I'm going through. I finished the Thieves Quest entirely, which is pretty cool. Just bopping around, being a Nord up in Skyrim, big chilling.
So what is if you don't mind me asking, like what's the channel look like for you now? Like Destiny's always been your staple, right? Yeah. Like it's been your
that's a good question.
Yeah.
Your thing, right? As it's been for all of us.
Yeah. It's,
but as like a content creator, like what's going on in your mind with Destiny in the state that it's been?
A lot's going on, because there were a lot of people that watched for Destiny stuff.
Right.
I feel like it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like they're not watching anymore because Destiny's not where it is anymore. So it's like there's a lot of equal amounts of not caring going around. Sure. But I feel like I'm going to try to make a pivot into more variety stuff anyway. Like I'm going to be doing Breath of the Wild when I come back, just to kind of like, use the controller some more and have, some more fun playing the game, dive back into that world, because I did that on the Switch too. And I just forgot how amazing and incredible the game felt. So we're going to go with that.
Fucking Switch, man.
It's really, really good. And I have been toying with the idea of doing Last of Us Part 2.
I'm not going to try and sell you on it. You need to play it. So
I know I need to play it. Go to Tsushima in July. Very excited about that. That will be on the stream. And then September is going to be massive with Tony Hawk that I'm excited about, and Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 finally comes out in September. And I would be playing that even if I was doing Destiny daily. So I figure why not just like lean in real hard to the variety stuff. So that's probably what I'm gonna try and do.
Nice. Dude, I cannot wait for Tony Hawk.
It's gonna be so
I'll
good.
just tell you
I hope it's
how
so good.
goddamn excited I am for Tony Hawk.
Yeah, dude.
I
found out. I thought, Locke, that I had played 1 and 2, but I think I exclusively played only 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I played 1. Yeah, 3's still good, but I played 1 with my blue N64 card, because it was the color blue, right? And then Tony Hawk 2 was yellow. And I played it on N64, and I also played the PlayStation versions. I used to play the shit out of that game, man. Yeah. I'm so excited for it. If it's hot garbage, I'm gonna be hurt.
Well, are they changing anything like? Are they just like fixing the graphics and making the graphics better? Or are they actually changing like the physics engine and like all the other kind of?
No, that's the only thing they adopted.
I think that's the same. I think all of that's the same, but they are like all the maps are not just. I think it's hard to say up-res because they look so much different, so much better, but they all are the same maps.
No, I watched the documentary. They rebuilt it. It's all new assets.
Oh wow,
it's all new assets.
So all the
is rebuilt. They wanted to keep it so like the physics will be even. I think if there's like there was definitely some floatiness in there. I think they were implying that kind of feel and vibe will stay, so that the game feels like it did.
That's the only thing that's the only code they said they took from it.
Yeah, it's a nostalgia, grab for sure. But bring it on, please. I want it.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna get it on Windows? You guys gonna play it on PC? Or are you gonna get it on?
I mean, I probably should. I should just buy everything on PC, but I might play with a controller.
Oh, I'm for sure gonna play with a controller. Yeah. But I think I'm gonna do it on.
Could you imagine that with a mouse and keyboard, trying to like spin and stuff?
It'd be tough.
You have to spin the board with your mouse.
Yeah, dude. It becomes like a tech deck. You just like tech deck shit on your. Just like line up like 5 keys, like wherever you are in the keys, like where it goes.
And it's also pretty dope that they're doing the characters in that game are going to be the older versions of themselves.
Dude,
cool.
I went on such deep YouTube rabbit holes watching Rodney Mullen do the most like street shit.
Do you follow like I follow so many skateboarders on Instagram. I have for years. Like if you don't follow Tony Hawk or Bucky Lassick on Instagram, you absolutely should.
I got a whole bunch after this show.
Dude, I like half of my feed on Instagram is all skating, and I don't know how it got that way, but like since I actually remember John or Menti from Fireside was always a big skateboarder, and he like started watching skateboarding again. Like he wasn't skating, but he was watching skateboarding, and he was like, "Dude, you just follow skaters on Instagram." So I just did it like one day on lunch break, and now I've somehow gathered like 24 skateboarders, and half my Instagram feed is just skateboard tricks. It's so funny, but like, yeah, like Daewoo Song is a great person to follow on Instagram because he does still does absurd random tricks with his skateboards. So good. I'm glad getting back on topic. I'm glad that you have a plan for what you're looking to do for the channel.
I'm excited to get back in. Like I said, hopefully this week coming up when I'm in the new place and things are stabilized, I can just hit it real hard after work and get in back in our groove.
That's awesome. Let's hit the guest, man. Yeah, the guest, dude. Before you hit what you've been playing, because I think what you've been playing is going to hit kind of your channel, I guess. I kind of wanted to give you an opportunity to share a little bit about yourself to those that listen to the podcast that might not either be in the Discord or know who you are, a little bit of your background, and then kind of lead into your channel and where you're at with your channel.
Yeah, sure. So I kind of got into all this through Diamond, really, because me and Diamond worked together, I want to say a couple years ago. And me and him started talking about games and stuff and how we were both really into it, and started playing on Xbox, and through Destiny, we became good friends and everything. And then I eventually ended up building a PC because I never had a PC up until, I want to say a year and a half ago. Honestly, It was when I really, got into everything. And since I switched to PC, I didn't know anyone besides Diamond, and he, introduced me to everyone here and the EG crew and all this kind of stuff. So that's how I kind of got integrated into all of this. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm just a full-time student, playing games, streaming, doing that kind of stuff, and just having fun with it.
And you recently reached affiliate, right, on Twitch?
I did. Yes, I did. So
nice, dude. Congrats.
One of my main goals. Thank you. Yeah. Well, that was kind of one of my main goals for this year. So to hit it, halfway through already is pretty exciting.
It's awesome. And what have you been doing on the channel? What games have you been playing recently?
So recently it's been kind of similar to you and Trip, to be honest, is, moving away from Destiny and trying out new things. So I've been a lot of Valorant, just because that's for those as well that are listening that don't know too much about me. I'm more towards the PvP side of things. I played Halo and stuff like that when I was younger, and loved to play games somewhat, competitively and everything. So I've been playing a lot of Valorant. Haven't touched Destiny really. Sea of Thieves has been something that we've been playing a lot recently, which has been really fun to get back into that game and to just relax, go sailing and do some stupid stuff.
Shoot yourself out of a cannon and onto
just blow up some ships or something. So I've been playing that with Channing and Diamond as well. We've had the Crucible, the Amazon Games Studio Crucible. Been playing that a little bit as well, because I was lucky enough to get into early access for that and do some play testing for them and talk with the devs. So that's been pretty fun. And that's really about it.
Nice. So what before because we can probably segue nicely into the Crucible article that we have here. What is your experience been like with Crucible through the partnership program, through early access, and kind of where you're at with it now as one of your games in your channel?
It was for me, it was very smooth. It was very eye-opening, being able to talk with devs and kind of see the behind the scenes a little bit about what goes in and the thought process that they have. So it was cool to kind of get that backstage look and talk with them and meet a bunch of people and kind of just play the game. I really enjoy the game. I think it has a lot of potential, a lot of fun. Obviously, it had somewhat of a rocky start, when it got released. But from my perspective, I think the game, it plays well when it's running well, if that makes sense. Sure. Because there is some glaring issues with it that should be addressed. And, being a partner and being able to give that feedback directly to the devs and stuff is, pretty good. So they do understand it, they hear it loud and clear and stuff. So but yeah, for me, the whole process has been pretty good. It's been a good experience, but I can definitely see from a new player perspective how that whole launch day and can put a bad taste in their mouth and stuff.
Sure. So what your transition, what was your transition from early access to launch as a player? Take away the partnership aspect of it. As someone playing the game, was your experience drastically different from the early access build to the full release build?
The build itself, like in terms of just like how the game ran, was very different, which surprised me a lot. Because I remember jumping into it, getting ready to stream. That whole time I was playing it before, I was running. I usually run every game on like low graphic settings, regardless, unless it's like an adventure game, just so I can get the max FPS. Sure. So I put it on like the lowest settings, VSync off, uncapped frames, and was getting around 100 FPS in game. And during like a team fight where there's a lot of stuff going on, around like 80. So for a game with the size of the map that it is and all the graphics and textures and stuff going on, that's somewhat good. And I don't have a crazy powerful PC, but then going into the actual game launch, I couldn't do anything unless I had VSync on, and I had it capped at like 60 FPS, and even at that point I wasn't even getting that much. I was getting like 30 or 40. So something big in terms of like something going into like the actual game release, whatever build that they put out, something must have changed with the optimization. I don't know, obviously what, but something caused the graphics and the optimization to just plummet, like just take a dive. And I don't know if it was because of like population, if so many people trying to get in. I don't know why that would affect, FPS and stuff. But so in terms of, taking the partnership stuff out of it, and my transition from playing a test build to the full release build, it was drastically different. It was like, not to rain on them, but it was much worse than the test build.
No, I mean, you gotta be honest, dude.
Yeah. You have to. I mean, for a few reasons, right? Like you want them to get better if you enjoy the game, right? So you have to give them the feedback. But even as a viewer, like I watched your gameplay, right? Like on that first day before release, I was in your stream that whole day and I watched all of the gameplay that you had. And then on release day, I watched both you and Diamond play, and it was noticeable how different the game ran for you guys, right?
Yeah.
And it was very easy to see. So, but I mean, realistically, is that very different than goddamn every single game that comes out now? Probably not.
Exactly.
It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse, right? Because they should be able to release a game in a state that's playable. But it is interesting to see such a drastic difference in optimization. So one of the first news points that I wanted to bring up to segue into this is a Forbes article written by none other than our favorite Paul Tassi, who is a Destiny.
We love Paul Tassi.
Mostly Destiny
he's
writer.
He's been going hard with this almighty crashing into the
He has been.
Let's talk about the Destiny side story for a second, like filtering his images to make sure we can know that it's there visible in the skybox. And I'm like, okay, Paul.
Okay, Paul.
Thank you.
He's grasping, man. He's grasping for something.
Look, I get it. He's got to keep his job. He got it. Look, there's a mortgage. He's got a family. I understand.
Right. So he wrote an article, and the headline is Amazon's big budget Crucible is putting up worse numbers than Battleborn did on Steam. Right. So to unpack it a little bit, because I don't think the title is necessarily fair. Crucible is, for all those that didn't listen last week where we unpacked it a little bit more, is very easily compared to Battleborn, which is a game that died because no one really played it.
Yeah, if you weren't around for the launch of that game, I doubt you would even recognize the name.
You wouldn't. Yeah, if you weren't around for when it first came out and maybe the couple of months after, before it was barely holding on, you probably would have no idea.
Yep.
And there's a lot of reasons that Battleborn failed, but a big one was that it came out against Overwatch, right? And a lot of people compared them to one another, even though they're not the same at all.
Paragon was the same way. Oh, sorry.
Paragon, exactly.
Yeah,
Paragon, right. Paragon again.
That was
yeah,
same issue.
And I don't even think
a conversation of the three of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Paragon, it's fine. You wouldn't.
Yeah. Epic Games dropped it for Fortnite, so that's why you don't know about it.
Right. And but Crucible is more aligned with Battleborn in terms of hero-based PvEVP, right? Player versus player in a PvE environment with different game modes on top. But the reason why I bring up this article is not to necessarily bash on the game or the numbers, but it's something that I felt leading up to our community playing it, which was Paul makes a point to say that there was almost no like Amazon backed promotional stuff going on for Crucible, which I found to be extremely interesting, right? Like before Diamond and you, Nimbus, were realistically tweeting about it constantly, blowing up my feed, I would have no idea that this game was coming out. Right.
Same.
Like I didn't see any promotional tweets from them. I didn't see any articles about it. I didn't see any commercials on Twitch, their own fucking platform.
Yeah.
I didn't see any commercials. Right. So if it wasn't for you, Nimbus, I know you saw the first tweet that got you guys into the Crucible partnership program. I would have no idea that this game even existed, which seems like such a huge miss from a company as big as Amazon. It's their first, if I'm not wrong, their first game that they've produced, right? Their first Amazon backed game.
Yep.
And they have the biggest gaming platform under their umbrella that they did not utilize. So like to that point, like, do you guys have a similar experience with this, with Crucible in general? Did you guys see advertisement for it? Were you like did you see it on Twitter or Twitch or anything like that? Am I off base, or was your experience the same?
No, you're 100% on point with it. The funny thing is that I believe it was posted because me and Diamond are also in like a closed Discord that was for like the testing and stuff like that, so we could communicate with people. I believe it was in there. I don't remember the exact context or the exact words that were used, but it was something along the lines of that they purposely did not advertise it before launch. I forget the exact reasoning behind it, but that was actually something out of concern because when me and Diamond got in there, there was a lot of people that were in there that were like, we got in the week before it was launching, and they've been doing this playtest for 2 years with some of the people that are in it. And people are like, how did no one know that this game was, being developed or getting ready to come out? Even Diamond asked them if they were at PAX East, and they said, yeah, we were, but they were in like some little corner in this tiny room with like, a tiny tent or so, setup. Right. Where, right. You think Amazon, if they want to advertise it, they'd buy the biggest section in the middle of the biggest floor and, have this giant setup for it, at least something bigger than just, the hotel business meeting room. Right. So yeah, in terms of the advertising, everything, we also found it very interesting because I would have never known about the game unless if I never accidentally stumbled upon a tweet. There was no Twitter advertisements, no Twitch advertisements, to your point, which, they own it, so why not advertise it all over there? The only time I started seeing that was after the game released. Once the game released, almost every ad before, like pre-roll ad before a stream was Crucible. But at that point, it's kind of already too late because you kind of shot yourselves in the foot beforehand with, the bad
There's no hype.
Yeah, and that too.
I think at the time that the article was written, I think he puts in how many people are watching it on Twitch. So at the time that he's writing the article, Crucible has 855 people watching it on Twitch. Yeah. Sub 1,000 people are watching the game on Twitch, which to me is just bad marketing because I don't think the game is bad, right? Yeah, like I haven't played it yet. I haven't booted it. I haven't played it, but I've watched a lot of it in both of your streams. And it's a game that I don't know if I would enjoy playing because I haven't necessarily played it yet, but it's a game that I did enjoy watching. So I would watch people play it. So the idea of holding back to advertise until after the game comes out, I don't know if I necessarily understand the thought process. Felix and Trip, was your experience the same? Did you have any idea that this
exactly the same?
Was coming
no
out?
idea. It was only Diamond and Nimbus.
Never
talking
heard
about
of it until
talking about their experience and
it kind of had the advertising now I feel like kind of had the reverse effect of what you would want, because after the Steam reviews got bombarded with terrible reviews of people saying it's an awful game, don't play it, not optimized, all this other kind of stuff. And now that it's being advertised, they're throwing all this advertisement out and on Twitch everywhere. Now everyone's seeing it and being like, oh, that's that game I heard of. That's awful. And I should never touch it. You know what I mean? Sure. So if anything, now, not doing anything until the release date kind of, had the reverse effect of, all right, well, now you're telling everyone what game they shouldn't be playing because they know of, all these issues that were, coming from the launch day and just the first week in general.
It's a good point. Like if my first exposure is reading the Steam reviews, for whatever reason that I landed there, the first thing that I see is the Steam reviews, and then I see an article for it or I see a trailer for it, they've already lost, because my first assumption is reading all of the negative reviews.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which, again, bad optimization is a problem. I don't want to play a game that's not optimized, but that doesn't, that's not saying that the game itself, the core gameplay, is not fun. Which, watching you guys play it, the core gameplay loop does look fun, right?
Yeah.
It just baffles me to think that someone somewhere, most likely someone in a suit, made the decision to say, no, we need to wait for launch day to start advertising this on our own platform.
Yeah.
Which is the wild thing. I watch Bounty paper towel commercials.
Yeah.
I watch Josh OG accidentally spill his G Fuel or whatever energy drink he is nowhere near his keyboard, and then pick it up with Bounty paper towels, but I don't see an advertisement for a game that you are making.
Yeah. Maybe there was
a huge mistake.
Maybe there was a conflict of interest.
With who?
Because Amazon owns Twitch. And
where's the conflict?
I don't know.
I mean, unless there was some weird clause in some big advertising contracts that said you can't promote your own game, but that would be.
It would look like they were playing favorites towards their own shit. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean, but they can do whatever they want. Yeah. No one's going to stop going to Twitch. No one's going to stop throwing ad money at Twitch just because they decide to throw their own advertisements in.
Also, it's a PvP game, right?
Mostly
PvP, yes, but there's PvE elements to it. Yes.
But so it's a PvP mostly game with PvE elements.
Mm.
The name Crucible doesn't really isn't that problematic? There's a whole game mode in Destiny that's PvP
yeah, I mean, I think I don't know the lore at all to why Crucible is called Crucible, to be honest, and we can Nimbus may be able to share shed some light on it, but I mean, in terms of recognition, yes, if you say the word Crucible, the majority of people are going to think Destiny.
Yeah.
Then they're going to think of a standalone game.
And did they not know that when they decided to create the name? I mean, it's like...
So
I don't know.
That's kind of the funny thing, too, because I don't know if it's still up there, but it was one of the most upvoted Reddit posts within the first week of, on the Crucible Reddit. And it was talking about how the game was almost impossible to find any information for, because when you type Crucible into any Google search, the first thing that pops up is Destiny 2 Crucible. And on top of that, the characters in their game, they call them hunters, which is a character that you can play in Destiny 2. So if you look up Crucible Hunters, it just brings up Destiny 2 Hunter. If you look up Crucible, it's just Destiny 2. If you look up Hunter, Hunters is just anything else. But so people were saying I have to put Amazon Crucible, play Crucible Hunters, Crucible Amazon to get it to come up.
That's what I just had to do to find gameplay.
Terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So it was it's this huge almost like misdirection where you get sent to this completely different game whenever you try to look up anything about this game. And I have no idea why it was named that. Diamond might know, because he kind of dove into the lore a little bit more. I know I believe he talked with one of the developers about some of the lore about the characters. Okay. I don't know if they went over anything about the name of the game.
Right.
But from what I'm concerned, they just named it that. That's just what they thought were.
Right.
Yeah.
This goes back to my theory that one of the biggest problems with a lot of developers is they're developers only, and they barely have time to play games. So they're not playing other people's games to know what we talked about it with your brother-in-law, Locke.
Yeah.
He talked about how
from PHL Collective
he worked quite frequently in a bubble and didn't see any other content and didn't know what was out there because he was just working for months on a particular title. I don't know.
Well, yeah, they talked about how I forget what developer he was working with at the time, but they created a game and they've been working on a game for months and months, if not years. And it wasn't ready yet, and then some other bigger developer released a game that was almost identical to it, and then they had to scrap the whole entire project, right?
Yeah.
I forget the details around it, but it reinforces the point that you're in your own ecosystem, that you don't have a lot of time to invest outward into the broader community.
Kind of going off of that too, when we were talking about it, the game was originally supposed to be a battle royale. That's
Right.
it. Cut and dry battle royale, nothing different about it. And then they switched it up. They didn't tell us how far in development they switched it to be, more, PvE element type game and have this, these bunch of different game modes. But at the same time, I feel like that's what a lot of people had intentions of it being, was just a straight up, like battle royale game mode where you just dive in, and they have that mode, but that's not, the main focus of the game anymore, which is, another thing that, might have threw some people off first, jumping into the game and seeing like what was going on with it.
Right.
And
I think the other, what were we going to say? I'm sorry.
No, sorry. I had a second point and I kind of forgot it, but what I saw Diamond say it in the chat as well. When they released the game, and we've talked about this, they released it and called it a full release. They said, this is the game, this is how it's going to be. Versus when you go into the game and you learn more about it, the game is technically in its preseason, is what they call it. So it's not like the actual, like the seasonal releases where you get more content and stuff. This is still like a testing phase for them. So if they would, I think if they would have communicated that as well, like, hey, this is like, or released it as a beta, like still in beta phase, like Valorant, for example,
Sure.
2 months it's been a beta, and they've learned all these different things, changed things on the fly, see how people react to it. That's another thing too that I think that they should have communicated a little bit better.
Right. It's there's another point that I want to bring up, but when you mentioned Valorant used Amazon's platform, Twitch, better than they used their own platform.
Oh God, so much better.
Like, so much better. And I know there's a tons of problems with the Twitch drops and all the things, all the issues that caused with that.
Still, it got the game in front of a lot of
I was about to say, it makes the hype.
Got it in front of a lot of people.
In a sleazy kind of way.
Yeah.
Maybe. But there was the other thing that I think Crucible failed on was there was a lot of big name people that fell under the Crucible partner banner that didn't play it on the first day.
Yeah.
Right? Like there were a ton of people. I mentioned Josh OG from the Bounty paper towel commercial. There was Sacriel, or I forget how to pronounce his name. He was a Crucible partner. Crafty was a Crucible partner. This was a Crucible partner. All of these guys played it on like day 3 or 4 after all of the hype was, I guess maybe the first week you can say is all hyped up, but they weren't playing it the first day. And I think Amazon definitely has the money in the pocket to pay these guys to play it first, because it's a marketing strategy to have these guys play it the first day and create hype around it. Whether or not you want to say that that's a bad business practice doesn't take away from the fact that it works.
Yeah,
if you have all of these people playing it in the directory, it gets it to number 1, and that gets it in front of more people that then play it. And then it's up to the game to keep them there, right? But now you have people that don't know what the game is to even get them to the game. And then you throw in all these other things about how you can't even find it in a Google search because you have to type in some, like doctorate level search to find what you're looking for.
Incredibly terrible SEO.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So and there were a ton. I think they made all of these top streamers partners and gave them early access and allowed them to get into the game, but they didn't give them any reason to play it, right? Besides the fact that maybe they were somehow obligated to play it within a certain time frame. Throw money at them. It worked for Apex. It worked for like a million other games, right? Those games were also good, but like, when you have Ninja playing the game from minute 1, you get 100,000 people watching the game. To the article's point, it peaked at 12 or 10,600 players on Steam was its peak. Within a week, it fell to 4,400 players, making it the 188th most played game. Within 5 days, it went down to 188 on Steam. So my hope is, from what I watched, that Amazon continues to invest in it. I think they have a lot of reasons to invest in it. I don't think it's worth to fall by the wayside from what I've watched. I plan to hop in myself in the near future and test it myself. But I think it's a good lesson for Amazon Studios to learn for future projects, hopefully.
For sure. Yeah.
So we got a few more news points. Let's completely shift gears here because there's no way that I'm ever going to find a segue for this one.
It's all right. It's the hard spin that wheel to the left.
We're gonna hard spin to internet assholes and to the Skyrim grandma.
Skyrim grandma.
So I know you guys were talking on the pre-show about this a little bit. I didn't catch the conversation. Yeah. So
she's burned out, man. They burned her out.
Yeah,
she's burned her out.
Pieces of shit on the internet asking her stupid questions. She's like 80. Yeah? She has the same problem I have. She's like worried about her fucking heart and shit. You said
she's worried about her what?
She's worried about her heart and shit.
she's got other problems besides the ones.
She's like, I'm 80 years old and I'm worried about my heart. And you fucking dummies are asking me stupid shit. That's what they were.
What's most interesting about the fact that she's taking a little bit of a chill pill is that she's been doing like daily Skyrim videos for her near 1 million follower account on YouTube. They're only getting a couple thousand views like every day. So it's a lot of effort for very little return. It's a grind, honestly. You know, maybe someone who's 80 years old doesn't want to do that daily grind necessarily, you know, for people that aren't really appreciating it 100%. And a lot of the negativity, though, that's coming into that account is more like rude or aggressive backseating, not so much just like general internet dickheadedness. Because that's, I think, at a certain level, and it's not great. Please don't think that I'm saying that it's fine and we should be dealing with it. But that, I think, for people is easier sometimes to brush off or ignore or block or whatever. It's people that come in that are very aggressively convinced that their opinion is right about how to play a game or how someone's experience should be, or maybe even they're being genuine and they're like, they want to help. They're like, I think this could be better if you did this, but doing that in a way that doesn't regard the player's own feelings about, hey, I don't really care about being optimal. I just want to enjoy the game the way I want to play. That stuff is almost kind of at a certain point, like mentally draining to deal with because they're not mean. You have to be nice. You have to kind of explain where you're coming from. There's a lot more work to do to kind of address that kind of constant attention.
I get it all the time
on your play style.
I'm always playing the game in the wrong way compared to how somebody.
You're always playing the game suboptimally.
Yes, suboptimally. There's always somebody in my stream who needs to tell me, "Yeah, you're doing it wrong, man. You're doing it wrong." Sometimes it's helpful.
Sure,
you know? But you make a really good point, Trip, and it's something that I never thought about is like they're coming in to try and help a lot of the time.
Sure,
they're not coming in to be a dick; they're coming in to help. But it's almost exhausting to have to like re-explain yourself every time about like, well, this is why I'm lost in the woods hunting inside of Red Dead Redemption and not playing the storyline, right? Or this is why I'm walking all over Skyrim and not fast traveling.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm trying to think of the game where it happens the most frequently with me.
Fallout for sure.
Fallout?
I have no idea, but I'm just guessing. And I
Fallout
think that's a pretty accurate guess.
I told you, Fallout is the same 3 questions. Unless the person's helpful and they want to join me and play with me, there's 3 questions. Why are you playing this piece of shit? It's always the first question. Or why are you still playing this piece of shit? That's always the first question. And then the other one, after they realize I give them a reason why I'm playing this piece of shit, they're like, should I buy this piece of shit? And then the last question is, can you launch a nuke? It's always the third question is, can you launch a nuke? I'm like, no, I can't launch a fucking nuke. There's an involved process.
Is that essentially what the whole thing was about? Because I didn't know too much about this story until like a couple days ago when I might butcher his name, but he's a YouTuber, Yang Yi, I believe is his name. He has like 1 million subscribers. He same thing. He does like, news articles and stuff like that. But apparently he made a video about it, talking about people berating her and doing all sending all these mean comments and stuff and how she was getting tired of it. And he ended up taking his video down because he didn't want to, add more fuel to the fire. And he was very respectful and just saying like, you shouldn't be doing this one, but he didn't want all his people to see it and, go and like say stuff as well and start like a reverse fight.
Right.
But yeah, so is that what was going on? It was just people coming in and like,
well, I do want to make a little bit of a correction here. We don't usually acknowledge people that are in our chat just because, we have people listening that are not watching us live. But we were corrected by one of our viewers, Janie Cat, that apparently on Twitter, she reached out to an article posted by VG247, responding directly to the tweet saying, "I don't know who you are or where you get your ideas from, but there was no onslaught of patronizing comments. But yes, I am scaling back my videos due to health. Most people on my channel are very nice. I do wish you would delete this so it would go away."
Oh wow,
Spread information. I wanted to make sure we call this out immediately.
Correction.
Yeah,
Live on the show.
back.
That is a good correction.
They do mention in the article though that she wants to scale back because of health.
Mhm.
They do. I guess they filled in their own narrative to state that internet trolls are a problem.
So are fucking
I mean,
zines on the
in
internet,
itself, just because that's not the reason she takes a step back, it's still a topic of conversation, right?
Sure.
To say as a content creator, the mental exhaustion that comes from potentially dealing with your own community, right?
Yeah. I think it's why a lot of players are like, no backseating, no spoiling when they're playing certain games, because they want to kind of nip that in the bud and say, look,
sure,
let me just live out here. Let me vibe. Like I get it. I know there's probably a better way to do this. I'm not out here broadcasting as if I know. So just like we're chilling.
I created in my Discord. I created a voice channel called The Backseat, and I actually invited somebody in to tell me how to play the game when I was playing Bloodborne, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I was like, Peanut, who's been on the show.
Sure.
I was like, yo, Peanut, man, come, just join The Backseat. I made a channel. I did it right live on the air. I made the channel like live on the air. I was like, just join The Backseat. Gave him permissions and everything. He came in and he just started telling me, go here. No, you missed that door. You got to go back here. Try this, all that shit. And I was very happy about it for that game. But like, there's other games where I know what I'm doing because I've like played it like 70 fucking times, and then somebody comes in and they're trying to like game-splain to me, which is just,
and especially like games like Skyrim too. I mean, I feel like you can't really play that game wrong. Like there's really no.
It's a huge sandbox.
Yeah, like it's just like Fallout too. Like you can't really do it. Like if you want to play it however you want to play it, like do that. Like I think I remember it was either Locke or Trip that told me, Felix, that you were. Was it Fallout where you just went in and you were able to kill every NPC and you loved it because of that? Or was that a different game?
Fallout New Vegas, and then I did it off stream. I didn't do it on stream, but Outer Worlds.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what it was. Outer Worlds, because it was more recently.
If I had actually streamed Outer Worlds, you guys would have seen me shooting somebody in the head over and over again, and that would be the stream. I didn't listen to a single story quest. Like I shot every character. It was great.
So to have people come in and like, I can definitely see how that can be, somewhat of an annoyance in a game like that versus, where you can do kind of whatever you would please to do in that kind of game.
Yeah, there's I don't know.
Hopefully Skyrim Grandma, she makes a comeback.
Yeah, just take some time to relax and figure out her own shit, not stress too much, and make even better content.
Dude, like I don't want to be bothered with like editing videos. Like why?
And you said she's like, 80, right?
She's 80, right? I mean, no matter how proficient you are, like, it's a lot of work.
Put them up.
Well, at this point, with that many million, with a million followers on YouTube, maybe she has somebody doing it.
It's dope though. I mean, in general, for reach and for visibility, it's more work towards getting gaming. Okay, so
I realize this now that this is a follow-up story, because we definitely talked about her on the show like maybe 3-4 years ago. We definitely have talked about her on the show, so it's good that she's still out there doing it.
Yeah. A really quick news point that we wanted to mention, coming up this next month, I should say, we're not in June yet, is No Man's Sky is coming to Xbox Game Pass, as well as the Windows version, right? So it's coming for Xbox and Windows.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can unarchive the No Man's Sky chat. I don't know if that still exists in the Discord.
We should find that and post it, because man, you're gonna hear me accommodating this game very hard, and people being like, "Dude, it's a piece of shit. It's not what they sold." And I'm like, "No, but it's great. It's space." And it was rough, man. It was rough at launch, but the game is so good.
I mean, it made a huge comeback.
Incredible.
Yeah. It's always good to see Gathalion. It's always good to see Gathalion talk, because he just talks with. What's his name? What's the guy's first name? Sean Murray. I was thinking Steve Murray for some reason. they always go back and forth because Cathalion's a huge fan of the game. And I've always wanted to play it. I just never ended up purchasing it. So the fact that I have, the Game Pass for PC, I'm excited.
I went deep for a couple weeks playing the game, and I still kind of pop in every once in a while. I am currently working on a gigantic city planet in this game in my file, where I found this beautiful planet with like bluegrass and like pretty chill pink skies and like a really, really nice sunset and skybox and everything. There's burning hot rain every once in a while, not great, but it's fine. But it's got a bunch of mesas that come up out of the ground, and I started interconnecting them with gigantic fucking highways. So much so that it doesn't even load entirely if you pop in, and like, because I have to make a big network of bases to be able to cover all this ground, because they're all going bigger than the actual base footprint. It's just this massive like industrial project, and I want to like make a giant planet where everyone can kind of hop in the EG community if they want eventually, and like land, chill, drive around, literally make highways on this place, have races if they want to.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. And now that it's coming on Game Pass, this is kind of more of a reality to get more people involved.
And it's crossplay
sure.
or no? It's not crossplay?
It is. I don't think it's not crossplay.
I don't think so.
Just wondering.
I don't even think it's cross save. I think it's very separate in terms of its.
If it's Game Pass though, can't you still? Isn't that like the Xbox Play Anywhere where you can play with people on Xbox? Because like Sea of Thieves is you can play with people, you can play against people on Xbox, and I mean play with them on PC.
And that's how it works in State of Decay too.
I might not be able to play with the same people since I'm on the Steam servers with it.
Yeah,
figure it out too. But all the planets exist, so as long as I just get the coordinates to people, they can route their way there and find it. So we'll see.
That's a good question. I wonder.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
Neo says only Xbox published games have that.
This in the article itself, it says one of the last sentences says there's no word on crossplay between the Windows PC version and the existing Steam version of the game.
Right.
So I guess we'll have to see. I would be surprised if it doesn't happen at the launch, if it doesn't happen at some point. It's just we're at the point now where it's a normal thing, right? We're not at the point that crossplay is not a thing. There's plenty of games that are currently doing it. So not if, it's when.
Exactly.
The last thing we wanted to bring up, which is not surprising, but it is definitely worth noting and discussing a little bit, is that BlizzCon 2020 has officially been canceled.
Thanks, coronavirus.
Thank you, coronavirus. It's a hugely popular event. It sells out year after year after year. The article states that 40,000 people went in 2018. Which is an absurd amount of people, a little bit over the 25-person max that's allowed for gatherings in Philadelphia right now. So it's not surprising that that they've decided to cancel it.
Wait, it would have been in Philly, or
no.
The way you said that, it sounded like it would have been.
I mean,
it would have been in the fall if it happened, but now it's not happening.
Where do they normally host it?
Anaheim.
Is it Anaheim? Yeah. But Blizzard's in an interesting spot right now for where they're at with their content. We know Overwatch 2 is coming out in the near future, right? They had the resurgence with World of Warcraft, with the classic version of WoW. We're nearing something with Diablo, hopefully in the near future. Diablo Mobile, just another mobile Blizzard game. So I'm curious. I don't know if the article states if they're going to do a live stream instead, or if they're just canceling BlizzCon altogether. I would imagine that they'll do some type of presentation. They'd be silly not to. But it's just another X that coronavirus has caused for the gaming industry for this year. I read an interesting article segueing with coronavirus and how much mobile traffic has spiked due to coronavirus in terms of downloads, and how much like mobile gaming was already the number one platform, and it's like tripled since this has started.
Wild. Yeah, but it's crazy to actually hear the numbers.
I forget the actual number, but it was something like 1.5 billion downloads for mobile games since this has all started. I could probably find it pretty quickly, but when you put that into comparison to the games that we probably want as console gamers and PC gamers, you have to think as a developer where you're going to shift your focus, right? Like where you can ultimately make the most money, which is with mobile games, right?
Yeah.
It was a 53% jump in US mobile usage, and a 75% increase in mobile gaming usage that was found across all of the different carriers. But there was a number for downloads that I'd have to try and find, but I'm almost positive it was something in the billions in terms of how many games have been downloaded, which is
downtime and your phone's right there.
I'd be lying to say that I haven't spent a lot of time playing mobile games.
Yeah.
To be
Clash
honest, right?
Royale.
Dude, I'm still playing Clash Royale, dude.
That's why.
Clash Royale has been I don't think I've actually talked about this. This is funny.
It's a good game.
Clash Royale, dude, I play so much Clash Royale, you have no idea. So they started doing a seasonal model like a while ago at this point where it's like $5 for like 2 months, I think their seasons run, or a little bit over 2 months, and it's $5 for the season. And there's essentially a track. There's a seasonal track, just like there is in Destiny, just like there is in Fortnite. Every
Like
game.
a battle pass type.
There's a free track, and then there's the paid track. And the reason why I pay for it each month is because they do, or once every however many months I pay for it, which is crazy because I don't buy apps. The only app I've ever bought is Dark Sky. In terms of iOS apps, I don't buy apps, and I fucking pay semi regularly for this, which is fucking mind boggling to me, but is because they have a perk in there where you have unlimited tries at challenges. So normally a challenge is 3 losses and then you're out of the challenge, but when you buy this pass, you could get unlimited tries. And I tried one time not to pay for it one month, and I got so frustrated that I couldn't keep playing the challenge that I just bought it. And then I just bought it. And all I could think of every time I log in is, goddamn you, Carrot, for even mentioning this to me. Because if Carrot didn't bring up this goddamn mobile game,
wow, dude.
Now you know how I feel, Locke, with the Fallout First. I don't think I can ever play Fallout 76 without it. I can't.
Sure, but but that's a
money
for a fucking AAA game.
Yeah,
I'm playing a fucking tower defense game on.
I know.
On my iPhone.
Is that technically a AAA mobile game? Is that a thing?
I mean, maybe. Supercell is probably one of the bigger mobile developers. So,
if you wanted it.
I guess it would
AAA
be,
mobile. New category.
Yeah, but switching back to Blizzard, I really do hope that they can come up with something, because there's always hype around BlizzCon, right? Like I'm a Blizzard, I'm a fan of the games that Blizzard makes, whether I play them all or not. It's a huge developer. We do have Overwatch 2 coming out, like I mentioned, so there's a lot of hype around what is that going to look like. There's a lot of ambiguity around what is Overwatch 2 going to do to the existing Overwatch community.
I mean, Diablo 4 as well.
Sure.
It's supposed to be
right.
coming.
Diablo 3 was an awful release, so let's hope Diablo 4 does not follow suit. And we have a lot of guys in the Discord that play Overwatch pretty regularly, right? Diamond being one of them. So I'm interested to see more information come out around Overwatch 2. So hopefully we get some kind of live stream from them, even though they're in person need to be canceled.
Everyone's been ready, I think, for a couple months to pivot into this kind of virtual space, and all they had to do was, watch the data, make the decision, and then say, yes, all these things are happening. Let's ramp it up. So I feel like we're definitely going to get some kind of digital experience, the way everyone else is trying to curate their own digital experience.
On Blizzard's their official, like the tweet that they sent out with their official update, because I wanted to look that up to see if they mentioned anything. They said, we're talking about how we might be able to channel the BlizzCon spirit and connect with you in some way online. So
there you go.
Looks like they're thinking about it, but obviously I know they did. They also said in here, though, that they are staging some type of event for next year, for like early next year, once all this stuff kind of subsides. So I don't know if that will also mean that they have 2 events, if that'll be like a mini, BlizzCon thing or what, but they did say that as well.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out long term, right? Like when I mean, normalcy is going to feel very strange for a long time, but in terms of conventions and things of that nature, it'll be interesting to see when companies start making the decision that now is safe. Like, you know, this month, this date is okay to shove 40,000 stinky gamers into a stadium.
You see all those tweets, man, when those events come around. Wear deodorant, wear deodorant, wear deodorant, blah, blah, blah. Remember, people fucking smell.
Yeah.
Put deodorant on, wash your goddamn body.
Yeah. But that hits all of the news points. Was there anything else you guys wanted to unpack?
We're bumping my game? Is that what we're doing?
What are we bumping? We got one more? We got some Fallout noise. Sorry.
Did you say Fallout noise? Did you say Fallout noise?
Yeah.
Things are being non-essential in these past months.
It's non-essential.
I didn't care about it so much,
I looked up the
didn't
article.
click on the link to open it in my web browser.
Okay.
So
I dropped it in here because I saw that it was Fallout 76 and it was an event, and the people that play this game are excited about this event and they loved it last year. And I was like, oh, this seems, I don't know anything about this. I'd love Felix's insight on some of this. And it turns out that their Fastnacht event, their Fastnacht raid, had to get canceled because one of the early intro quests required you getting some presumably very easy to get like animal materials, but due to some other update in the game, there is a bug that makes these animals spawn less, so people were not able to actually complete the objectives to get this parade event started for themselves and for their characters to get the items.
Yeah, there's irradiated squirrels and irradiated possums that can spawn. There's probably some other small game that can spawn as well that I'm not remembering right now. And I have been getting the materials for this. I think it's they're intestines, right? Yes. I've been getting these for months from these animals.
Yes, one of the things you have to do is fill a butcher's icebox with these animal intestines.
Right.
That's what people can't do. That's the step that they can't complete because of spawn times.
Well, dude, I've been getting them. They're probably something that degrades and eventually spoils.
So you probably have a trillion in your goddamn.
No, because I've been fucking selling them. I didn't know what they were for.
Oh well, now you're fucked.
I've gotten intestines constantly, and I've been selling them, but I didn't know what they were for. So I never, I didn't get a chance to compete in that event last year because I wasn't playing the game. I had the game, but I wasn't playing it when it happened. And I was going to go in the other day. We were in there, me and Splorence were in there getting ready to go in and do it. And I looked on the map and the icon wasn't there. Like there's a town called Helvetia, which is the place you go for it. And it very much seems when you go to the town like it's what's the German beer festival? What do they call that?
Oktoberfest.
Yeah, it very much feels like the town feels like an Oktoberfest type town. And when you go in there, there's like a big hall that's very similar to an Oktoberfest type town. So I've always wanted to try it, but I haven't had a chance to do that.
Well, it'll come back. This is they're going to reschedule this once they have a fix and they're ready to go. And this is apparently a top priority for them. One of the community managers wrote. So don't worry, Felix. You're going to get your
good old.
Hopefully, I'm playing the
good
game
old
when it
community
happens.
managers.
Oh, you can't.
They have been putting a lot of since Wastelanders came out. They've had a lot of active communication, and they've been trying to patch things as quick as they can.
I feel like that's a story with every game developer.
I haven't experienced. I personally
should honestly be afraid of a lot of communication.
Yeah.
Because Destiny's an example of a lot of communication where.
No, but I haven't experienced a single of the new Wastelanders content. None of the quests have bugged on me yet. I'm not through them all, but none of them have bugged on me yet.
Now that you said that out loud, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen.
You're also not installing, 18 mods like you were on Fallout 4 and having to figure out the mod order, so.
But yeah, the game performs much better than it ever did. And, we got like a small little community of people over in my realm that play it, and it's fun. And I still stream it periodically. I think this week coming up, though, I'm going to be streaming the new Mortal Kombat DLC stuff, so just to see what it's about.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice.
Now is that it, Felix? Or is
that's it. Yeah, there's nothing else.
Does I skip over anything else?
You didn't bump me. Thank God.
How dare I miss that article?
We had to fit the intestines in there.
is there something that that I could bring up? I don't want to push
Please
it too
do.
far if we have, short amount of time or anything. I don't want
Go ahead, man.
to, go over it. But it's a pretty short story. I forgot to tag it and add it in the chat. I'll put it in here now, in the Discord, just so you guys can see it. But I don't know how many of you are into racing or into, Formula One, Formula E, those type of racing and stuff like that. But a lot of races have been doing online stuff. So like NASCAR, IndyCar, they've been doing online races, bringing people in.
We briefly mentioned this in a previous episode, but it was like for 5 minutes. But
yeah. So there's another like real quick story. But so the Formula E, which is essentially the Formula Series for electric cars, they're all electric cars. A lot of big name teams, Audi, Porsche, Jaguar, a lot of big name teams, a lot of big money into the sport as well. They followed suit and they had an online race. Where they had professional drivers, celebrities and stuff come in, do the race, and all the proceeds were going to charity to, support COVID relief or do, some type of thing. And the article is essentially a driver's name's Daniel Abt. He's a German driver who drives for Audi's factory team in Formula E. He was one of the drivers that was supposed to compete in this, for fun charity race. And instead of competing, he hired a professional sim racing driver to race for him instead. And the driver got third place, and people got suspicious because there's a big, not a big difference, but there is a difference between, pro driving and then simulator driving. And a lot of these sim racers are actually better than some pros in the game because the physics are different. It's not the same as an actual race. So people were skeptical because they knew they had qualifying sessions and practice sessions, and he was nowhere near as fast as he was in the race.
Interesting.
And his camera was off the whole time. But they even went to lengths of putting the guy that he hired in his like Audi uniform and everything and sitting in the chair. And when the camera did come on, they had like the mic stand like right in his face, so you couldn't see his face, but he had all the dude's same gear on that he would like normally, like all the Audi sponsors. And
Yeah. Wow.
So I thought it was just a funny article because he got caught, and when he got caught, he also got kicked off of his team. So he is no longer a driver.
Like a real driver.
Yeah, he had Audi dropped him from the team. He is no longer a Formula E driver anymore. So he is out of a job because he hired
and it was for charity.
Online gamer. And exactly. Like it wasn't like he was earning this money or doing anything. Like it was all
look like an asshole,
for fun. Yeah.
That's pride. That's
pride.
I get out there every day looking like an asshole. I love it.
That's your shtick, dude.
Yeah.
He was forced to pay almost £9,000, disqualified from the next race, and all of his points from the series have been wiped. So I wonder how much he paid this online gamer.
Certainly, I don't think anywhere near £9,000.
Yeah.
He would have fired him.
Seriously.
I mean, the funny thing is that's like pocket change to him, which is kind of crazy.
Sure.
Like you would, but at the same time, he also lost his job. So
I love the description in the article. It says absolutely brazen cheating.
Well, putting the gamer in your outfit and hiding your face behind a microphone, that's brazen.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, right. Like just turning the camera off and refusing to turn it on is one thing, but then knowing that they're going to turn it on and you're going to have to like somehow figure it out.
Double yourself. Yeah.
Right. Or like just like drive to this person's house if you're a celebrity and then sit in the chair. I don't know if that was
so
too
much
complicated.
Work. Just play video games for charity, bro.
I posted the image.
There's the screenshot.
So
you'd have no idea. You'd have no idea who it was.
And
it's hilarious.
I thought that was funny. I didn't know if any of you were into racing too much, but being a big fan of it.
I found it super interesting to see how they've pivoted to the online presence. Yeah. I think they've done an incredible job of figuring out how to keep their seasons and their fan base entertained by switching to the simulation front with online. It's been super interesting to watch the iRacing stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't see this article. It's really funny. At the end of the day, though, when all this blows over, this dude will pick up a new sponsor. Like if he's that good of a driver,
most likely, yeah.
Like if he's that talented, like everyone will be like, remember that dude cheated online? Fuck it.
Yeah.
He'll be driving for Mercedes, or something.
A lot of people are. Sorry, go ahead, Felix.
No, I was just gonna say I bought a racing game recently.
Oh, what'd you
buy?
get?
I bought Wreckfest. You guys know
okay.
anything
Never
about
heard of
Wreckfest?
Yeah, I know what Wreckfest is. Yeah,
I know
Yeah,
nothing
so
about Wreckfest.
Wreckfest is a not just a demolition derby simulator, but it has one game mode as demolition derby. But it's fully customizable cars, but they're all demolition derby cars and hogs and all kinds of crazy stuff. But there's also a series of racing tracks as well. You do a full demolition derby circuit. It's pretty cool.
the physics of it are awesome too. Like the physics, like your car gets
It's
annihilated when you
soft body physics. So and you can turn it up all the way. So like when cars hit, they hit and break like real cars. It's amazing.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's so
I
good.
never heard of it. Is it new?
Yeah, it came out. Originally it was called New Car Game? Isn't that what it was called?
I'm not sure. I've only known of
Yeah.
it since it was Wreckfest. Yeah.
It was called like New Car Game, and they had all these like demos they did online, and I've been keeping up with it for a couple of years because I love soft body physics. Like I personally think GTA needs soft body physics. I wish it had it. But like this, I've been watching these demos where the cars smash and they just crumble, and it's so
Right.
cool. And pieces fly off. It's like very, very realistic. And then I heard that they renamed the game Wreckfest, and just
And you were sold.
yeah. One of the first games I ever played on PlayStation was Destruction Derby. Do you remember that one? Yeah,
I do.
I love.
This was making me
Destruction
think
Derby.
of how badly I want a Twisted Metal remake.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
That's
I know-
another game that could use
Talk about nostalgia.
soft body physics. I'd love.
Yeah, I
soft
know I'm
body
stretching
physics
a
in that.
little bit in terms of racing with Twisted Metal, but like, dude, a modern day Twisted Metal would be so sick.
Yeah.
They don't even have to remake it. They don't even have to remake it. Did they remake it?
They had one this gen.
Stop
2012.
it.
2012 they made it.
No, so that
See,
would have
this
been
is-
last
this
gen.
is what
That would have
can't
been
happen
last
to
gen.
Tony Hawk.
PS3.
Yeah,
It was PS3.
This is what
PS3
can't
one.
happen to Tony Hawk because I didn't know that this came out.
Yeah.
Twisted
That's
Metal.
the newest one you're gonna get.
Yeah.
2012.
It's a new Twisted Metal. I don't think it was a remake. It was like a that
Oh, they
console
remade it.
series entry. Yeah. I guess trying to
didn't
like
do well.
revitalize
I played it for
maybe.
5 minutes, but it was bad. I don't know why.
was bad?
I don't know why I didn't like it. I can't remember. But I definitely played it. You remember, Locke, when I got the PS3?
I remember when I bought your original.
No, but I bought the red one and then gave you that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
When I got that red one, the God of War special, I bought Twisted Metal and played.
Oh, really? I don't
Like-
remember you ever talking about it.
I don't think I
to be
ever brought
honest
it up
with
on the show, but I definitely played it for about a week and was bored with it. It really wasn't that
I
good.
mean, it doesn't look good
No.
from the screenshots that I'm looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah. See, here's the thing, like the PS3 was in such an awkward state for some games in terms of like only some developers made do with the hardware of PS3.
It was
You know what I
rough to
mean?
develop for, yeah.
And when you look at Twisted Metal, whoever made it, I don't know who made it, but they didn't. Yeah, they fell on the one end of the not so great
Yeah,
spectrum of it.
I bought that game around the time when I bought what was that game? It was called Tokyo Jungle.
Yeah, I played Tokyo Jungle a couple weeks ago.
Dude,
Tokyo
I
Jungle.
love
No idea
Tokyo
what it's on.
Jungle, man. I had this comparison. I was like, I bought Twisted Metal, and I was like, and then it was Tokyo Jungle, and I just kept playing Tokyo Jungle because it was amazing.
Yeah,
If anyone
they're
doesn't
nothing
know-
alike. They're literally not
they're
at all the
nothing
same
alike.
video game.
But if
No.
anyone doesn't know that game, it's really cool. It's the super future, and all humanity's gone, and all that's left in Tokyo are animals. And you just play throughout this entire playthrough of a story, a very elaborate story. You play different animals on this journey. Like it's fucking great. But
It's like you have to survive as long as you possibly can using one animal type, and then like gain points to then like upgrade your animal.
Yep.
Yeah, like, do
kind
you
and like work
evolve?
through all of your you do you pick a new animal, and then that animal will like you'll find a mate and you'll kill their animals and you'll have children and try to get as far as you can in the next generation for points and survival. It's a very very Japanese game. It's Japanese as fuck.
I love it.
We're so far
for
off
all-
the rails.
Yeah,
For
well-
all of you, yeah. Before I bring it in, Twisted Metal, the reboot was made by Eat Sleep Play, Twisted Metal reboot was the last game that they made for console, and now they're an iOS developer. So
we call that
AAA mobile games.
We call that a pivot.
Now they're making AAA mobile games, even though I've never heard of any of them, but that's okay. Yeah, but thank you for bringing that up. That's super interesting. I'm curious to see how this progresses, quite honestly. How the scene, not only the racing scene progresses during COVID and the online presence that's now been amplified, but if other sports do something similar. I know it can't necessarily be applied to baseball and football and stuff like that with some of those games.
Yeah. I think basketball
it's just a little bit different.
I've definitely seen basketball players playing matches against other teams. Just kind of like by them. Yeah. I don't know if it was any kind of an official sanction thing. I'll have to look this up. We'll post about it.
Yeah,
we'll tweet.
But I think we'll see more stuff with iRacing and this type of stuff now that the whole COVID thing is progressing. But yeah, at this point, fellas, I think we're gonna bring it in.
I think we should.
So thank you everybody for listening to episode 253 of the Emergent Gamer podcast. This is one of your hosts, Lock and Key. You can follow me on Twitter at Lock_Key. Follow me there, as I always say. If you want to see me argue with a Destiny community manager, that's the highlight of my Twitter career, is trying to pick fights with people over my opinion. Yeah, or Triple Wreck. Yeah, he at least engaged me in a conversation, even though he was wrong, but that's fine. Follow me on Twitter, and if I ever decide to go live on a live stream, I will tweet it out first. Felix, where can we find you?
Felix Hergood, pretty much on everything. Felix Hergood on Mixer, Felix Hergood on Twitch. I go live to both of them at once, and then Felix Hergood on Twitter. I am currently playing Fallout 76, and I don't think I'm playing Red Dead on stream. I'm just going to do Fallout 76 and Mortal Kombat on stream. So
nice.
Combat 11.
I am Trip0TV. You guys can find me on mixer.com/Trip0TV, but because of a lot of life events and shifts and happenings and things, I don't have a definite date for a return to stream. Hoping it'll be Monday, but for now, like Lock and Key, follow me on my Twitter. It's the best place to know what's going on, and that is Trip0TV, like everything else.
Yeah. Yep. And Nimbus, where can we find you, brother?
And for me, you can find me on Twitter at its_Nimbus, and then on Twitch, it's a little different. It is Nimbus_GG.
Dope. Make sure to check out Nimbus. Like we said earlier, he just reached affiliate. So if you have any extra cash laying around or any Prime subs, make sure we drop this man a sub as a new affiliate. Nimbus, thank you for joining. We appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join us for an episode. Thanks again, everybody, for listening to 253. We will catch you next week. Later.
Later.